Thank you very much. Okay, Anna. You too, Anna. Hey.
Hello.
What's up?
Busy again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Have a busy day ahead of me. It just seems like there's so much going on in town this week. You know when you have like a couple of slow days and then all of a sudden like everything just develops all at once, you know?
It's always that way.
It's like really crazy.
Under the crunch.
Yeah. So we have like this press release that went out yesterday from the Grand Council, like the Haudenosaunee, the Confederacy. They said that it was basically like it was hand delivered to Mohawk Council, and I guess it went to other places. But basically, they're taking a stance on, you know, elected councils not using, you know, the traditional symbols or the position of the Confederacy at different levels in the political forum. So, and then they extended an invitation to start working to benefit everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that it's not like you're bad people, but being in that system hinders us. Don't pretend to represent or be something
What
that
made
you're
this
not.
come
you
out
know?
now? Then why
I'm not sure. We're still investigating it. I'm trying to get an interview with someone from the 207, but Kenneth Deere is at the UN right now in New York. And then they suggested Tommy Deere, and he's away in Florida. And so the third person, well, Lynn Norton, she does a lot of explaining, but she doesn't like to be on camera or do interviews. So they suggested Gananogo, I guess, Hemlock at Survival. So we're going to try to go out there after and see what we can make of it. I already put in a call to Mohawk Council to get it, you know, what they think about this and get the other side of it.
So there's nothing to do with the timing. It's just a letter just went out. There's nothing coming up.
I'm not sure. There was something to do with the UN meeting being held in Alta, Norway.
When is that?
I think it's in June. There was some suggestion that they heard that maybe the Iroquois caucus might be going and like representing themselves at that
level. Who sits on the caucus from MCK?
I know from Mohawk Council, it's Bobby Patton, and it's also
It used to be Martin too, right?
Martin LeBourne still does, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's 3 of them that are involved in that. So, but Joe Delarone said no, they're not sending anyone to Norway. So he doesn't know where that's coming from. So,
Okay.
but I know that the letter was delivered to Chief Phillips. So I'm waiting to see if they want to give a comment
Chief
on
Phillips, you mean like
Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's Clinton too, eh? Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways. What's up with you? What have you heard? Something about this turf, right? At the
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the turf at the arena. I mean, it's great that we have a turf, but there's made some controversy, made some waves, especially with the. Well, for me personally, it was roller derby. We had a game scheduled for Saturday.
That's right, you do roller derby.
It was our first home game, and with the turf coming in, we can't skate on it, roll on it. So we kind of lost the venue, so we had to cancel our game.
And they're not the only ones, right? Isn't
No,
there?
okay,
So
well-
what's the controversy like, or
Okay,
what's the
because
problem?
because the turf has gone in, it basically makes it exclusive for lacrosse. You can't really do anything. Maybe you could play soccer, you know, but
Where did the turf come from? Because this is the first year that we've had that turf, right?
yeah, it came in. What I
We
understand.
never had turf before, right?
No.
Okay.
No,
Because I was like, well, I'm new
it's
to
new.
all,
Yeah.
you know, my
Yeah.
son just started playing, so.
Yeah, so we haven't ever had a turf, but we got it from an NLL team in BC that kind of went under.
Okay.
I believe Sterling Deere acquired it somehow. I
Okay.
don't know, maybe he has contacts, and he was able
Yeah.
to get it, brought it here, and it's for lacrosse, right? Not a lot of the arenas have it. The only one I really know is in Akwesasne. They have turf at the Turtle Dome, and then when I played in Six Nations, they had it there too.
Okay.
But when we go all over Ottawa, you know, we play in Gloucester, Nepean, all those arenas don't have it. And then even when we go to provincials at Whitby, the Iroquois Park, that's what it's called, it doesn't have.
Doesn't have it.
No, not yet. But what I understand is everybody's supposed to get it. This is what I'm hearing, but I don't know for sure.
Right.
What makes it better? What makes it worse? I can't say. Some of the players like it, some don't like it. But we have it now.
It's true. Hey.
Hi.
Here's our other.
Come on over
Our other
here.
member of Mohawk TV. So we're always filming. Now we're just doing like a quick story meeting on what's going on in town, and you're standing in the newsroom. This is the newsroom today.
For the last couple of times.
The last
it's been
couple of
the
times I
newsroom.
just come here and hold our little story meeting.
My sister's boyfriend had ball hockey. And
Yeah.
they're upset because they had scheduled games and everything. And
A season, yeah.
They can't play ball hockey.
There.
How long would have that had lasted though? Like
They had a whole season. That's why I said they made a concession
season,
in that
okay.
President's Cup is like Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And they wanted this ball hockey league to be finished a week early. So they put that in, like, I guess a contract, or I don't know if it was a contract, but an agreement, verbal, okay, you've got to finish a week early. Okay, no problem. But now that the turf is in, they can't even play there at all. So I know in the past, I think they were at the youth center or somewhere else. I'm not sure if they can go back.
I think it's more or less like the principle of the thing.
That they were-
like they had planned on playing at a certain venue, had agreements to play at a certain venue, and because of the turf are not
Able to.
Yeah.
able to.
yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know like all the details.
Yeah,
just know that
I-
this turf is causing a lot of, a lot
Controversy.
of
Grief,
problems.
yeah.
It might be saving some knees, but they're
Yeah. Yeah. But that's exactly.
I'm gonna check into this story more, but
Yeah,
I'm
but the thing
like-
is, what we were saying was,
Yeah.
it's a community building. You can't be exclusive to lacrosse. It's a good thing, but this is where I say, whose responsibility is it? You can't blame lacrosse.
No.
We need in this town more facilities.
well, I have a nice, easy story this morning. I'm going to Step by Step. The kids are planting out there, and Good Leaf is out there with the kids and all the teachers. So we're gonna head over there to do that story. So less controversy
That's no
in
controversy.
planting.
Yeah.
There's none. It's just like good,
interesting.
heart-filled stories.
Yeah.
Wait, I'll bring up some controversy. Hold on. Whatever happened to our community garden?
I gotta go. I got
stirring
this
up the
story.
fun,
Yeah,
Lynn.
yeah.
Here
See,
you go.
yeah, that's what I do best. All right, bye guys.
Anna,
It's always an adventure.
it's good to see you too.
This does look really great. So what does this activity do for the kids?
So basically it promotes every domain that we are working on at Step by Step. The gross motor skills, your fine motor skills, language development, second language as well, because we're learning some Mohawk words as we're planting. It's a lot of math and science concepts, a lot about ecology and taking care of Mother Earth. We're learning about nutrition, where our food comes from, trying to teach the kids about healthy eating, and also just promoting how the feeling of being out in nature, how much joy it can
You would
bring you.
never-
So it's spiritual as well.
I know. It's
And
a-
social emotional, because the kids are cooperating, they're working together, they're learning to take turns. It covers every domain.
It
that you
really
can-
does. You would never think
think of.
that,
Yeah.
when you're planting, you think it's something that you're doing to extra food, and a lot of people enjoy planting. So, but you would never think, like, in terms of an activity for a kid, like how far it extends to all these areas. It's pretty amazing.
Definitely, it's a really great hands-on activity. I mean, even just the sensory activity of getting into the soil, smelling it, feeling it on your hands, discussing the properties, the wet
Yeah.
and the moisture, the color.
Well, it
It's,
seems like they're really enjoying it.
Yeah, and we are too.
Who doesn't
I'm
love to
doing
be
this
outdoors,
David Suzuki
right?
30 days, 30 minutes in nature, but I keep going more than 30 minutes. So I don't know, it's great. But I know it makes me feel good, and I think that's what we want to teach the kids at a young age, that it's a really great thing to do, to grow your own. It's going to be organic, it's clean, no pesticides, and hopefully we'll create that love of gardening, and they'll be able to take it into their lives forever. and
Great.
Have their own gardens when they get older.
Yeah, for sure. Teach them at a young age.
That's it.
Well, today what we did is it's not the first step in our gardening process, actually, it's really maybe the third step. Our first step was getting the actual okay to do the garden in the front yard. We have several gardens in the back. But this year I want to implement the Mohawk Cultural Language Facilitator here. I want to have more gardens in the front, just to maybe, one, draw attention to the kids and the parents, and then start that communication, because when in the back you can't see them, out of sight, out of mind. So I figured if you have a garden in the front, the children can then readily tell their parents with the cues of the actual garden growing, this is what I did today, or hey, let's check this out, or the parent might say, hey, come, let's talk about this. So it really builds that communication.
Out here.
Yeah, and it's also not just for our school, but for the community as well, to see, look, here's a school that's doing this, or even here's something that's going on in our community. It's easy. And I've had a lot of parents now and a lot of the staff who have actually implemented raised beds because we're doing raised beds here. So it's really working how I intended.
Great.
So we had Chuck Barnett come in last week on Thursday, and he prefabbed all of our materials, and he actually helped teach the kids how to do the construction. So cordless drills and screws and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And today we installed and put in our cardboard to help for our weeds, and then we put our manure and our soil, which was all donated from parents here at the school and some of the staff.
Okay.
Yep.
So what were you hoping to bring to the school, but also to the kids in terms of education?
Well, there's so much education from planting, but also there's a lot of different skills that the kids learn by just working together, teamwork, team building. Some of the younger kids didn't participate in the actual construction, but they did today do a lot of the putting of the dirt in and whatnot. So I'm trying to spread over, I have 9 classes here. Everyone gets a chance to do something. So tomorrow, I should say, some of the other kids are going to actually put the plants in. So what they're going to learn is, like, one, when everyone is standing together close to each other, sometimes we don't like that. The same thing with plants. Some plants don't like to be close to each other, so we have to make sure that they have enough room to grow. Also, we have another class who's started pickling cucumbers, and they're going to put them in one side of our garden. So they're going to see how the process of the pickling cucumbers rising up on a trellis instead of going on the ground. So that's something different they're going to see too. Also, just that this is who we are as Ungwahunwe, Dinyungwari Hoda, and some children might not have ever even played in the dirt. Some children might have planted anything or seen anything grow in their lives. So this is just like a first-hand experience for them to do that. And then hopefully it transfers, like I said, to the parents, to the staff, to other people, the community. So that's my intention.
Great. I mean, it sounds fantastic. Could you give me an idea of what you're going to be planting in the 4 beds that we're seeing here right now?
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some potatoes, which we can then store for the rest of for part of our school year next year.
Okay.
We're going to do pickling cucumbers, which then we're going to pickle. I know we're doing some tomato, which we can or we can freeze, depending on how we have a cook here who does the cooking. So I'm going to ask her what she likes, how she likes to process them. So then we're going to do that. Onions, again, for soups and whatnot. Carrots, because snack, kids like to have carrots, so we're going to do carrots. What else do we have? We have dinosaur kale, just because it's the word dinosaur.
What is that?
It's kale. It's like a green leafy vegetable.
Okay.
So what we can do is we can cook it and you can throw it into soup. But I like the idea of dinosaur because kids like dinosaurs. What kid doesn't like a dinosaur? So that. Also,
I don't know. You lost me at that one.
there are sunflowers, just because they're beautiful, and then we
Yeah.
could see if we can process them to actually try to eat them.
The sunflower?
The sunflower seeds.
Okay.
Oh
yes. Okay.
And then also we have squash. I know in the back they're planting some squash, but in the front we're doing Muskie de Provence. It's a different kind of squash. It's not a squash you would find necessarily at the supermarket. So it's not
Okay.
acorn or butternut or anything like that. It's a larger green one. So I want to expose the kids to more variety of things that they might not see.
Right.
And then we can then process that again into cooking it, making making squash bread, or all kinds of stuff. And then we have ozaheda. Obviously we have bush beans, we'll have pole beans. We're not doing any corn in the front. They're doing corn in the back. Just because our breads are kind of small and there's a bigger garden in the back.
Okay.
Would you like to see the back garden? Huh? Okay, then let's go. Yes, we have lavender here. I'd like to take the kids in there. You can take
Nice.
some and smell it.
Wow.
So like you can say, like, it's not just that it's something that's going to grow with little pretty purple flowers, but it's medicinal as well.
what can you use lavender for?
A lot of times
relaxing.
relaxation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it. What they do is they normally dry it, and they put in sachets underneath your pillow, or you can put it in your drawers. Moths,
Okay.
like insects,
keep
don't necessarily
that.
like those, and especially like there's natural treatments you can use, like lavender oil and rosemary and all this other stuff for nits and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I mean, but we tell the kids like
wow.
it's medicinal. It smells good. Mind you, we don't encourage the kids to pick any medicinal plants while they're at school because you just don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to.
Okay.
But yeah. So over here is our Three Sisters garden, and some of the classes, what they've done is they've divided up the gardens into sections, kind of, so everyone has a chance. Nothing is planted here yet, but they started to do all their stuff. Some stuff looks like it's growing, but I don't think it's really anything. So this will be like corns, beans, and squash. So they got their poles already.
Now I see you have like eggshells in here,
And that's from our
is
compost.
that just the composting? Okay. So
that's just the
what does
compost.
that do for a garden when you add like compost in there? Helps.
It enriches in the soil. It enriches the soil, and it's organic matter, right? So like sometimes you'll have grass, or even landfill or something. There's nothing in it. It's like not. It's still there. It's growing things, but it's not at its optimal function.
Yeah.
So if you put stuff like this, and especially if you're doing, say, tomatoes, if you put crushed eggshells in the bottom and then plant your tomatoes, if you're transplanting, it gives it more nutrients. It gives it the right nutrients it needs to grow. So every plant has sometimes it has specifications. They have to say what it is it needs to grow properly.
Right.
And that's one of the things. Whatever is it, calcium or whatever is in that shell. I'm not really sure exactly, but it helps it.
Wow.
Well, this is something else too I saw online. It's just a basic pallet, right?
Okay.
And what I had is one of the maintenance men who works here. He has this cloth that's like for you put in the bottom like your garden beds or whatnot. We use cardboard in the front, but this is just the cloth. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just put some dirt in here, and we're just going to do herbs because it's already a road. We're just going to put the dirt in and just transplant herbs that we buy at the store or whatever.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And it'll grow like.
And they'll grow. And sometimes you'll
Wow.
see, like, there's some internet, they have them hanging on their walls like this. But for us,
Okay.
it's easier just to have it on the ground.
Right.
I mean, we could put them on, but then you have to wait a while because all the roots have to secure themselves in the dirt before you actually lift it up. But yeah, so that's an easy way too.
I would never think of something like that.
Well, I
Obviously,
would've never
I'm
thought of it until I
garden
saw
challenged, mind
yeah.
you, but
And if you wanted to do something else, there's bigger holes in the bottom. There's the slats are a lot wider. The slats here are more narrow.
what
here.
kind of paper is it? Like a velvet? Like a not a
No,
velvet,
it's
but like a
It's just like a
like a wool, like a.
it inhibits the.
So it just goes
root,
through, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And here we have raspberries. All here, they're growing.
What did you do? You just threw
Well,
them
these
in
were
there?
here before I
Oh,
got
okay,
here,
okay.
But they planted them, see. But what happens with raspberries and any berries in general is they start to trail. So they're trailing all over here too, into the
So
forest.
if you were just like planting raspberries in your backyard, what would you do? Just put them in the ground and
Put them
not
in the ground.
necessarily in a garden bed?
no,
or
I would
in
just
a
put
raised
them
garden?
No, I wouldn't even put them in a garden. I just put them in the ground and see what happens. Like my house, I
Yeah.
just have a line of them.
Yeah, like up against a fence or.
No, just in the middle of my yard, just a line.
Yeah.
Near where the gardens are, just so
Yeah.
I know. But mind you, in hindsight, I would have prepared it better. But you know, you want to
Yeah.
start. So you want to start somewhere, and it's easy just to make a hole and put it in the ground.
Could you do that with like watermelon and different things? Like just kind of pop them in there, or should?
Watermelon's a little bit different because it's like a squash. It's the same thing. You have to raise bed, and it needs a lot of area too. Because what happens with any kind of squashes or melons of that type is they're runners, So they run, they grow big, big, big. That's why with our pickling
Okay.
cucumbers, we're trying it where we're going up rather than out.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what happens is if something's just beginning to grow in the early stages, but it's already gone out of the bed, like gone over the barrier, if you're cutting the grass, you might not notice right away because it's amongst, it's
Okay,
green, right?
okay,
You're not going to see it
right,
right
yeah.
away. So what we're trying to do is we're going to raise up so that nothing gets run over by the what do you call that? The lawnmower, and
Lawnmower,
also
yeah.
the aeration, everything it's going up now.
Yeah, well, somebody told me
easier.
about the to plant like Gotni hundessa. They said even just do it in like hanging plants.
Yes, I saw
or
that online too.
Lay right off of like the planters. Just put them
Yeah.
in there and let them run over.
Yeah.
And
The same
I
thing
was
with
like, really?
like you can do if you have a big planter, say about this, like the biggest one, you can do onions in there. You can do potatoes. You can
Yeah.
do all kinds of stuff. You know, like you don't
Yeah.
really need to have so much space. Like if
Yeah.
you go to the city or if you see online some people who live like say somewhere in Italy or whatnot, on their porch is full of all kinds of stuff. Like it's just
Yeah.
there's so much
Urban
wasted,
garden.
There's so much wasted space we don't see. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you there's another class who actually planted strawberries. I'll show you that too. So
Okay.
here's our composter.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This one I think is in the later stages. You know, like it's more. So what you do is you have your organic matter, you put in some brown. You have some green,
Okay.
that's green. You put in
Okay.
some brown, you add some water, the natural rain, and you turn it.
So this here is. What would you do with this after a while? Like, do you turn it?
Yeah, you'd have to turn it. You might put some brown in it, like paper or like straw.
Okay.
And then wait a little while, and everything underneath, like this, if you cover it, eventually start to decompose. And then you just,
Okay.
then on the bottom you keep turning it so it keeps rotating, and then you got dirt. Like here, look.
Wow.
See?
Oh, it's got bugs in there.
It's got bugs, but that's the thing. You need to have worms. You need to have microorganisms. Like, you need to have that because that's what happens. You know, it goes around there, aerates all the dirt, and it does its job. So
Yeah.
So like, but that's compost.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And then here last year they planted oyongounwe,
hmm
and I think some of it reseeded itself here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mind you, we have some
I-
going in some of the classes, but
Okay.
there's some there and there's one here.
And that's the English version of.
No, that's oyongounwe. It's Indian tobacco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the kind you smoke in a
no,
cigarette.
I wanted you to say it.
Oh, oyongounwe. That's
Not
oyongounwe right there. Yeah.
That's tobacco.
That's
That's
tobacco.
what we're talking
Indian
about.
tobacco,
Yeah,
yeah.
Indian tobacco.
And if you looked up from top,
Mm-hmm.
you'd see the aerial view, and it's supposed to look like a turtle. This garden.
It does actually.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's some form of shape.
And then, like I said, all of the berries are growing wild. There's sayaze, which is like a small blackberry. I don't even know what it is called in Mohawk. I mean, in English, I might think it's called thumoberry, but sayaze. There's kanaguatarana, which is raspberry,
Mhm.
and I think that's all that's back here.
This
Not
is
sure.
great.
I haven't seen it actually
to
grow.
have like this wooded area.
because I only started in October, so I'll see the whole start to finish. So it'll be exciting.
You'll be here till the
October.
fall, October.
Yeah, October. But did you want to see the strawberry?
Sure.
Okay, well it's over here. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this is a project that another class is doing, and it's more like a wigwam style.
Okay.
So what they do is they'll plant the beans around so it grows up. But what she did is she found all over here you'll find wild strawberries. So she planted them.
Where?
now,
Like
in
just
here,
around?
and
Oh,
you'll
in
see.
here. Okay.
They've multiplied, and see how big they are? Look at that's a strawberry.
Oh
plant.
wow.
So what we're gonna do is obviously we're gonna weed it out when it's time. Like, you know, the little kids are, or the big kids, or the
How do you
even
know
adults.
which one's the weed and?
Because look, you'll see the strawberry has 3 leaves like this.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anything else around there, she hasn't planted anything else. And you'll see, like, you could say, okay, I'm just going to take out these weeds. That's it. And then you want to get your leaves out of there, you know, and so
Okay,
it's just
yeah.
slow and steady.
And this is for
That's the support for the
Beans?
beans. Yeah.
green beans, string beans,
Pole beans.
whole beans. Okay.
Because pole beans grow up and bush beans grow down. Bush, like a bush, it goes just like this. So it's different.
Okay,
So it depends on
okay.
what kind of beans you have.
Okay.
Like,
This is such a great concept. Like,
I think she started this 2 years ago, maybe, or 3 years ago she did this.
who was it?
Glorianne, her and her class.
Wow.
But you can tell that they're really good and hardy because the the buds are so big. They're like as big as a toonie. Usually you'll see wild
you could do
strawberries.
this like at your house on a smaller scale. and
Yes.
Just if you don't have anywhere to grow the pole
Yeah,
beans.
you could even do it in a box. Like if you had a box,
Mm-hmm.
you could do it there like that too. Or you could do a teepee style. That's a good way too. And then it
Yeah.
all grows in the center. And you don't necessarily have to use wood. What you can do is you can have a big pole in the center
Mm-hmm.
and then have string going down because it'll go up string as well. So depending on what you
Wow.
have, but I mean, ultimately you want to take from the earth. Like you want to recycle as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So if you find something, like, you know, that's why we use the cardboard instead of having to go buy the black sheet. Because you want
Right.
to see the kids, like, you go to recycling, you can get the cardboard, we can make a robot or something out of cardboard, but we can also use it in the garden. So she'll come out here, anyone's encouraged to come out here and tend the garden and also, like, you know, reap the rewards of when the strawberries come out.
Right.
You know, it's
just
coming out
so
there
much.
just to eat it.
It could be overwhelming, to be honest. You know,
To be,
like, do you know all this stuff and remember it? But it's really just teaching yourself something new. Because there's a lot of people I noticed this year that are getting into it that never gardened before, never put a garden in, and it's really nice to see that people in the community are thinking about alternative methods of food.
well, I think too
and-
it has a lot to do with, like, the workshops that you took or the workshops that are going around here, or even like
Right.
the workshops that the Culture Center and the Mohawk Council Language Center have put on through the workshops, like the cycle of ceremonies and
Right,
different things, and
yeah.
talks about, you know, if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing as Unguhue, how can you really say that's who we are if we're not really, like, in the earth and doing what we're supposed to be?
Yeah,
and that's
you're
the whole
right.
intention here at the school is to
Maybe
bring
people
all
are
those
more
experiences to the kids.
Yeah, I mean, people maybe more exposed to this type of thing now through those workshops or through, than ever before, it seems. So it's a great initiative, especially for Step by Step. And it does start with the kids, right? If a lot of us had this education when we were really young, then maybe it wouldn't be so
Foreign.
overwhelming now.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's easy because, I'm not saying it's easy, but we're open all year round. So it's easier for us to have a garden. Some of the schools maybe can't necessarily have a garden because somebody has to maintain it during the summer.
During the summer,
And a
yeah.
lot of times, people are maintaining their own garden. It's like that idea of having that community garden years ago they had, and it went really well, and then all of a sudden it kind of trickled off. So it's maybe like just bringing that, revitalizing it a little bit more. So hopefully this will help to do that. I mean, the kids seem to enjoy it, even just playing in dirt. Like
Yeah,
they don't,
getting their hands dirty.
just getting their hands dirty, yeah. And then once they see it, and it's like in the back where we're doing on the palette, I want to encourage the kids to eat them. So we'll do cilantro and basil and all those things, and we'll dry them all for the winter. And if we did celery, we're gonna maybe I'm not sure if we're gonna do celery, but if we do, we're gonna dehydrate it and then you just put it in the soup, dry, and it
Right.
just comes back, So
Yeah.
so it's a lot about storing. It's about being more self-sufficient. Self-sustaining too, I think.
Right.
And it's a good opportunity for a school to take the initiative to say, you know what, we're just gonna grow our own stuff and see how far we go. And if it only lasts us 1 month, it'll last us 1 month.
Yeah,
So,
it's
but-
a great project.
yeah, hopefully it's successful. And even if it isn't, at least we tried and we know and we learn from next year.
Right.
And then I said, if we have a surplus of things, we'll just take it to the Elders Lodge or somewhere and say, we grew this, and it's about extending it to the community. You might not have a garden, but we have, and we have more than enough we're gonna share.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Well,
all
thank
learning
you.
experience. Yeah.
This was a great opportunity for the community and Step by Step to allow us to come here and film. And you're such a great interview.
Oh, thanks.
So thank you.
No problem. Have a good day.
You too.
At your garden.
I'm gonna start today. All right, Ona. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, babe. We just finished filming at Step by Step, and now I'm going to have a quick meeting somewhere else. I'm looking into the story still about the turf on the at the sports complex and what's going on there. Because not everybody's happy about that. And then probably off the Mohawk Council, but I wanted to know if you wanted to meet up then for lunch at the new La Belle Provence in town. I guess we can go check it out. All right, so I'll call you about 12:30 and see where you're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, see you later.
All right.
Love you.
Thanks. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
You hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let's get something to eat.
I will have a smoked meat sandwich.
One smoked meat sandwich.
The story with the kids and the planting and stuff like that, so it was really cool. But then, there's all this controversy going on about the turf and the arena.
Big thing about that?
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Thank you. Yeah, so, and then, so from there, after the little story meeting and then Step by Step, and then I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this turf, then I wanted to come here and check out the new La Belle Provence because, it's really cool that in Kahnawake we have these things developing. Then on the other side of that, there was a bit of this controversy going down. Controversy. Maybe not controversy, but concern, I guess, about the issue of businesses being owned, by non-natives in the community. And so I sent Bart and Mary Goodleaf, who are the owners here, a message just asking to talk with them about it and maybe clarify some of the issues. And there's some concerns about, non-natives being charged tax. And then where does that tax go, the PST for the province? And then, does that make as tax collectors, I mean, people are making valid points because you definitely want to be careful when you're in that arena because you don't want to jeopardize the tax status of the entire band, but at the same time,
Well, what's the policy for these type of businesses? There is no
yeah,
written policy.
there's nothing
most
right
likely.
now, and the Mohawk
Exactly.
Council has pretty much said that, you know, we're still waiting on a comment from them, basically. So I don't really want to say anything until I know for sure. So, it feels good to, to sit down though.
On your feet all day?
Oh my God, these fries are excellent. I mean, the one thing about having a franchise like this in the community, you come in here and it's like
It's like, wow.
top
this
notch.
is
I
brand new.
love the homegrown businesses, mind you. I'm for business in the community, and I love the mom and pop businesses like Dustin's, you know, Cafe Delight, Eileen's. I love that type of business.
the
But I
first one.
also think that there's nothing wrong with having franchises in the community either. So I think as long as it benefits the community and that it's community owned and operated, and that you see people having jobs here from people getting into business, then it's great. I'm all for it. You know, mind you, I don't see anybody working from town at all.
Nope.
So that's a problem. Could be a problem. So how was your morning?
Well, got a new bus.
Oh yeah, the town got a new bus, another one?
I'm getting 5 more. Well, 4 more.
Wow.
And that came in. And the driver I gave it to, he came in also. And his new bus is all happy and all excited. He's like shaking. Showing me, took
How
it
much
for a
did
ride.
that cost us?
This one was $98,150.
But we have that in the budget, right?
Yeah, it's bus reserve. It's totally separate from our regular budget because it's dictated that every 12 years buses be changed out. It's a law.
Once I'm done here, I gotta be off and running. Another story,
Oh, yeah?
you know.
What is it now?
The arena. Hi, babe. I know we just left La Belle Provence, but anyways, I just wanted to tell you really quickly. I went and talked to the manager, and they told me that they don't charge the tax for anybody. Nope, no charge for the tax. So, yeah, it's only Tim Hortons that does it. So I didn't get into any details, but I think it's an interesting development in the story. So, yeah. Okay, love you. Okay, bye. Okay, so we're here at the Kahnawake Sports Complex with Chief Carl Horn from the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake, and of course, throughout this story that you've been watching, we have been trying to get the information on the turf. Now, I know that we discussed it at Mohawk TV and you know, just some of the details, but Carl, can you bring us up to date? I know that you sit on the sports and rec portfolio for the Mohawk Council, so what do you know about what's going on here with the turf here at the sports complex?
I guess just to give a brief update to the community, the floor was belongs to a community member. It was generously donated for the summer on a trial basis because we're having a big year here in regards to lacrosse with 2 major championships, being the Masters and Senior B President's Cup Championship. So for, you know, like I said, the community member made a generous donation to allow us to use the floor on a trial basis for this year due to the big summer we're having in regards to lacrosse. There were some community members that had verbal commitments from the arena in regards to a ball hockey league as well as roller derby, and their contract was more or less canceled. Sorry, it wasn't even a contract. It was just they were made aware. Yeah, they were made aware that there's a possibility that this type of floor might come in, and they would have to find an alternate location to play their league, which was running here for 3 years, the ball hockey league.
Right.
They weren't too happy about the situation. They came up with a letter, addressed it to myself, and as well as a petition, which I accepted. This petition was brought forward to the Sports and Recreation Unit, where we had a meeting throughout this the last couple of days, and it was decided that the floor would stay because of the, like I said earlier, the big summer we're having in regards to lacrosse.
Right,
and
'cause
that
we're having a few tournaments here. We have the Masters. We're also having the President's Cup.
Yeah.
And also, isn't it true that the lacrosse league itself draws a lot of revenue from rentals and things like that?
Yeah. And obviously, it's beneficial for the arena, but on the other hand, you have community members that, which I agree, that this is a sports complex and we should try and accommodate all sports, whether it be tap dancing right to ball hockey. I mean, these are community members that have concerns and their concerns should be addressed. And, that's a frustrating thing about my job is anybody that comes to me for help, I'm going to try and do everything I could to help them. I'll run through a wall for them. And that's why for me it's bittersweet because I wasn't able to help these individuals, and I want to take this time to apologize to the members of the Ball Hockey League as well as the women of the roller derby that they had an event scheduled here for the end of the month. Now they have to
Find another venue.
it's an inconvenience for them, and like I said earlier, it's only on a trial basis, so we'll evaluate it again at the end of the summer to see if it's going to stay permanently.
Right.
And like I said,
This kind of like raised the whole subject now that community members have been talking about over the years, which is another arena that's just for lacrosse and also looking at swimming and different things, because to have one arena that's just, we could do so much more. If you look at other municipalities, and that's what people are comparing it to, well, they have so much more than Kahnawake. Like, doesn't that kind of raise the issue now?
Yeah, I agree, and that's one of the things that I ran on the last election was to try and get a multi-sport field house here in the community, but obviously it comes down to dollars, and we don't have the tax base as other municipalities to draw from. Obviously, we'll never tax our people, that'll never happen, so it all comes down to financing to construct another arena or multi-sport field house, and it comes down to dollars, and it's my job and individuals sitting at council to try and find those dollars. Obviously, money doesn't grow on trees, so and the economy that we are in today, there's cutbacks right across the board for everybody, and so once again, it's a dream of mine, obviously, because I like to see lacrosse 12 months a year, not only lacrosse but soccer, to be able to play 12 months a year, and hopefully that can be become a reality sooner than later.
Right. Okay. Now, is there a cost or any extra, cost involved in maintaining a floor like this for the community or for the arena?
There's a cost, but that's going to be absorbed by the community member that made the donation or allowing us to use the floor. Once again, I want to make it clear that the floor still belongs to the community member. He's allowing us to use it for this summer only, and like I said, we'll evaluate it at the end of the summer to see if we're going to have it full time. But there is a cost, but not absorbed whatsoever by the arena or the Council of Kahnawake at all. I mean, there was a cost to install it, a high number from what I understand, and there's obviously a cost to maintain it and to clean it to make sure there's no bacteria or whatever. I mean, but there's no cost to community at all.
Obviously, yes, it's very generous of the community member, which, by the way, is Sterling Deer. I know you don't want to out it, but I will. It's my job. And of course, we did ask Sterling for comment, but I think his main goal was to just install the floor and also to see where it goes. At this point, from what our sources are telling us, that a floor like this could cost, $150,000 up. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, that number's accurate. A floor like this costs that much. That's why it's understandable that something like ball hockey, where there's a chance that you're swiping the stick for a slap shot or whatnot, could cause damage to the floor. And like I said earlier, it's a big year for lacrosse. There's a lot of teams coming across the country, Canada, to come here for the Masters and the President's Cup, and we want to put on a good show, and it's a reflection of Kahnawake when they come here and they see the beautiful floor, which is nice, and so.
Yeah, I mean, it's looks professional, of course. Just quickly before we wrap up, but there's only one other arena I think that Kahnawake will play against in Aguasasne that I think has a floor like this.
Yeah.
Most of the other arenas don't have, from what I understand, but you have experience playing lacrosse. Is there a difference between, because I know there were some concerns about injuries, is the floor good? Was there any research done or things like that? Those concerns were out there. But as a player, what do you think about the floor being installed, and is it a good thing for the community, the players?
My honest opinion, I played senior lacrosse for probably over 15 years, right across the country in different arenas, such as this. My opinion, there is no difference, to be honest with you. It didn't make me run faster. It didn't make me score, even though I didn't score that much anyway. But I didn't really find a difference. Maybe other people have different opinions, and maybe the game changed. I haven't played in 2 years, but my personal opinion, having played the game on both services, there's really no difference other than cosmetic. It looks good, and it looks professional. And if that's what the kids like in our community, then I'm all for it. I mean, but on the other hand, I want to make sure that everybody's concerns and questions are met in regards to whether you're playing ball hockey or lacrosse. Like I said earlier, that's the frustrating thing about my job is I can't help everybody. And like I said, I want to apologize to those individuals.
But at least you're trying to be, have a mutual understanding of all aspects, which is important in politics. So with that, is there anything else you think is important to add before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to wish good luck to all the minor lacrosse players in the community, especially to the organizers for the Masters Lacrosse, as well as the Kahnawake Mohawks Senior B. I wish them luck this coming year. Yeah. And come President's Cup time.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
No.
And that's it for us. You've heard it here on Kahnawake411.com and Mohawk TV, the story of the turf. And also, we had a lot of things going on this week's program. We hope you enjoyed the show. And if you have any comments or questions, don't hesitate to contact us at info@Kahnawake411.com or MohawkTV@hotmail.com. I'm Regan Jacobs. I'm your host of Our Town. And now it's time for me to go plant my garden. Yeah. Thanks, Carl.
Yeah.
Kanya ke haga thadi adaraste kayerniga hiadu zewaderoru.